Ladies and gentlemen, today's latest developments from the Middle East. In the Gaza Strip, the situation remains dire as the conflict between Israel and Hamas continues. According to health officials, nearly 5,100 Palestinians have lost their lives since the conflict began over 2 weeks ago. Tragically, around 40% of these casualties are children, as reported by Gaza's Ministry of Health. Israel's military has conducted over 300 new air attacks in the last 24 hours, resulting in more than 400 additional fatalities, according to Palestinian officials. The relentless bombing has also caused extensive destruction, with thousands of buildings demolished and over 1 million people displaced. The Gaza Strip, already under siege and facing shortages of essential supplies, is now in the midst of a humanitarian crisis. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has pledged to erase Hamas, the armed group that controls Gaza, as the possibility of a full-scale ground invasion looms. In response to a previous attack by Hamas inside Israel, Israeli officials report that at least 1,400 people, mostly civilians, were killed. The Israeli military continues to target military facilities and infrastructure in Gaza, including tunnels and operational command centers. Tragically, civilian casualties continue to rise, with more than 60 people killed in recent air raids, including 17 in a single strike on a house in northern Gaza. Despite urging more than 1 million people to relocate from the north to the south of the Gaza Strip in anticipation of a ground offensive, Israel's military has continued its airstrikes. The situation remains tense, with Israeli forces massed near the Gaza border, and limited incursions have already occurred. These incursions aim to target Hamas and rescue captives taken by the group. The United States is working to delay an Israeli ground offensive to secure the release of hostages and provide aid to Gaza. However, Israeli officials have stated that there will be no ceasefire as they seek to eliminate Hamas in response to the recent attacks and kidnappings. The situation is further complicated by repeated, violent Israeli airstrikes near Al-Quds Hospital in Gaza City, which shelters thousands of displaced people, including women and children. Norwegian Justice Minister Emilie Enger Mehl has condemned attacks on civilians and expressed Norway's readiness to provide resources for an investigation into possible war crimes in Gaza and Israel. She emphasized the need to hold those guilty of war crimes accountable and called for international cooperation to protect fundamental principles in times of conflict. In a separate development, the UK has pledged an additional £20 million in humanitarian aid to civilians in Gaza, in addition to the £10 million pledged last week by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. This aid is aimed at addressing the ongoing humanitarian crisis and providing essential supplies such as food, medicine, and fuel. That's all for the latest developments in this ongoing situation. We'll continue to monitor and bring you updates as they unfold. Thank you for joining us on TMC News.